Hello everyone, my name is Pigsy People, and today we're going to talk about what if Deku had haki. I know, I haven't finished the what if Deku had alchemy, but I don't know where to go with the story, because my brain's just like not thought of anything, but right now, I think I can do what if Deku had haki, because it's been on the back rope since like, what if Deku was a vigilante? I know the beginning of that series was called What If Deku Was a Villain, but I thought he wasn't really, villain-like. He was too friendly, so I just thought, nah, vigilante. Alright, let's go. Let's get into it. Like and subscribe so you don't have to hear it in the end of the video. And goodbye. For now. Alright, so we begin our story with Deku. Mm, yeah, him as a baby. Not a baby. A kid. He looks like a baby. Like, oh my goodness, do you see how small this guy is? And Deku's just, walking with Bakugo. And Bakugo is being his mildly jerk self, as always, because he's just a douche. And then Deku's just being all, Kachan! Little bitch ass. And then Deku just, well, then this guy, he's a pretty big guy, is about to run, well, he's running away from a hero who has a strength enhancing quirk. Can you stop fucking grabbing the Terminator, you little wench? I'm sorry, but like, stop. Alright, back to what I was saying. Deku would, well, would see the guy, obviously, and tell Kachan to move, but Kachan, being as stubborn as always, he'd try to shoot an explosion at him, but what would happen was the guy would just eat it, and then punch the crap out of Bakugo, hitting him against the wall. Then Deku, frustrated at this, his eyes uh, start to gray out, start to look gray, and then he and then he hits him with this energy wave, and it's green, and everyone can see it. And this guy also sees it, but then doesn't think it's good. But when he hits him, he then just passes clean out. He like his eyes roll to the back of his head, and he just boom right on the ground. Now he's out. And then Deku's like, huh? What happened? I can't see. I and then Deku starts screaming because he can't see. He's blind. Deku just became blind from using his Conqueror's haki for the first time, which sucks. And Bako that now resents Deku because how dare he save him from a guy he so could easily attack, could have killed, could have beaten. We both know that Bako would probably get pummeled by the guy, but especially Kid Baku, because the guy's weak. Okay, hit him with the alt. Okay, Deku then just runs. Well, he just sits there, blind, and then Baku calls Mitsuki, his mom, and says to pick him up, please. But luckily for Deku, he didn't just leave him behind. He just sat there, waited for his mom. If he moved, he'd get yelled at, and he doesn't want that because he's a small boy. So he goes home. Bako, and he gets into the car. Well, Mitsu's like, "Isn't Deku gonna come in?" And Bako's like, "He's blind. He can't see." So Mitsu's like, "Well, get in the car, Deku." And then Bako reluctantly gets him up and then puts him in the car. I really hate you. You know that's right. You know this, Deku? I really hate you. Looks like. He says something? Because he's just adjusting to the very loud noises of his ears, adjusting to the fact that, yeah, you have better hearing now because you're blind. Yeah, just ignore all the massive gore you see. And Deku just sits there and waits to the car to get home. Then Nico runs to the car saying, uh, my baby boy, where were you? I was worried sick. Deku's holding an ice cream, but he hasn't touched it. It's just almost melted to his hand, but it hasn't yet. And she's like, why haven't you eaten your... And then she sees Deku's completely whited out eyes. It's like, what happened? In the very most worried voice, like, starts bawling her eyes out. And he's like, oh my god, that hurt. Sorry, I got blinded by the stupid bright light that the thing made. Deku then just says, I used my quirk and became... I couldn't see. And he was like, what? And then we have a time skip to middle school Deku, where holding a cane. Don't worry, this cane is fitted with a blade. Like, man, I could have revealed that in a cool way, but I just decided not to, didn't I? I probably could have just made Deku, like, walking home when the slime villain showed up, and then Deku just pulled out the blade and cut the thing with haki. But no, I just had to go, no, he actually just has a sword, don't worry. But yeah, he has a sword in his sword. And Deku's, like, walking around in class. He's sitting down with his cane next to him. And then someone tries to break his cane, but Deku just grabs it before they can even hit it, which just makes them hit the metal desk with their bare foot. Barefoot, you know. And then his ankle twists and he pops it. Not pops it, but sprains it. And then the kid's like, and starts crying. Because he's a little bitch boy. That's what you get for being a little bitch boy. And then Deku's just, does that. Then Deku gets up from his chair, feels around, grabs his backpack, and puts it on. And then just goes home. Why do y'all guys just always use fatalities? It's disgusting. Oh, it's so weird sitting Arnold Schwarzenegger's head on top of a skinny thing. Oh, it's so creepy. Look how cool that looks. That's awesome. Okay. Then Deku just... Sorry. Then Deku just... Then Deku just, goes home. Well, he's just tapping his desk on the floor so he doesn't hit the ground. Scraping around. Well, if you were in Deku's vision, you would just hear tap, 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 tap. Wait, it's like rolling? I don't know. I don't know how to make a rolling sound. And then Deku just puts his... Then he, pops the cane blade out. It's like, who goes there? And the slime villain is like, give me your body, kid. Now, why would I do that? Disgusting heathen. And then the sludge villains be like, who are you calling disgusting? You can't even see me. Oh, is that right? And then Deku just blitzes the sludge villain and cuts it clean in half. But of course, it's the sludge villain, it just reforms itself. Huh? How'd you do that? Then he reforms, and then he grows a hand to grab Deku. Deku just cuts it to pieces, and then it explodes in an obviously anime type style. It implodes, and like it trying to say what it is, but like I barely can. Okay, so Deku like stabs. I don't need to. You know what it looks like, probably if you feel me. And then Deku just like cuts the the sludge villain in fourths, and then walks straight through it. The sludge villain tries to grab Deku again, but it goes as well as you think. Deku just weaves it with like very easy, successfully. He successfully does it really easily. And then Deku even hit him with a parried, you thought. And then he cut him in half again. You can see how annoying this is to the sludge villain. I fully believe the sludge villain is a no-no. Fight me on this. I'm kidding. But then All Might shows up and just goes, Texas smash. And then All Might punches straight through the normal. And then Deku's like, All Might, right? And Deku just starts touching his face, feeling his hair. It's like, yeah, it's me, All Might. Are you blind, young sir? Oh, I can see perfectly. I can see your body outline, but not your hair. Not your hair, your facial features, or anything like that. But I can see that you are very ripped, All Might. As the last time I saw you. And then the guy's like, oh, I wish I could have helped before that happened. There was nothing you could have done, All Might. If you tried to help, it probably would have ended in my death. And All Might was like, huh? If you tried to do it, I would have pushed myself too hard. I would have used my ability too much, and I probably would have had my eyes bleeding, and I would have ran out of blood. And fainted, and likely soon would have died. And then All Might's like, oh. And then he starts crying. My eyes suck booty cheeks. Actually, no, I don't like this team. It's not working out. Alright, now Deku just says, oh, don't worry. It's fine. I feel that it was an actually improvement to my quirk, you know? Without the blindness, how was I be able to see when a person's about to hit me? I'll see their movements before they even do it. And All Might's like, if you say so. And then Deku doesn't see it, but we see it. All Might sheds a tear. Because he feels he should have helped, but if he did, maybe it would have ended in his death. And he wished death on no one. Not even All for One. He just wishes to see him in jail. Locked up for a long time. And then they could just leave saying, well, you have a good one there. And then Deku loses his way somehow, even though he's like has haki and can perceive everything before it even happens. So now Deku's doesn't know where he is, and then he hears a scream, and then he's like, "What's going on?" And then the guy the civilian turns around saying, "A kid's out there fighting this green sludge. The hero heroes can't help." And then Deku's like, "Hmm." He smirks. Then he rushes into action. Then he takes the blade out again. But this time he then coats it in Conqueror's haki. Not Conqueror's haki, but Deku then coats it in Armored haki plus his hand. So now the blade is like stuck to his hand in a way. And then Deku just not like runs in a I guess a shinobi stance. Then he starts like Naruto like running really coolly, and then Deku then just cuts him in half. Cuts the sludge villain in in sixes, so he can get All Might out. So he can get Bakugo out. Hits him with his dramatic foes after he doesn't, and then All Might gets inspired and then touches his thing because he got away before then. Then he buffs out because I fully believe he would have dropped it if even if Deku didn't hold on to him. Because those pants were baggy as these warm nuts in your mouth. I'm kidding. Okay, I'm kidding. Then Deku, then here's All Might just like laughing his dramatic laugh as always, and then he saves all Baku, while Deku then just starts running around the Nomu with his haki. He starts breaking the ground. Then he flips the ground into the sky, which all the pebbles were almost connected, but not fully. And then they made a giant whirlpool, giant tank, I guess, to keep the Nomu, the slime villain, the sludge villain, in. And then the sludge villain is about to get out, and then like there's a tiny crack, which was purposely made by Deku, that leads right into the same bottle he was just in. Now the sludge villain is captured again. Get hooked, sludge villain. And Deku takes it out, puts a cap on, and just goes, "Here you go, All Might." And he smiles, and he grabs him. When the guys are about to go berate Deku, instead of All Might being caught by the press, he actually pushes past the press because he wants to talk to Deku. Not because of One for All, actually. He just wants to commemorate the guy for saving the young child, young young man. He actually like dramatically pushes him in. You know how Kotal Khan in Mortal Kombat 11 just pushes the guy so dramatically? Yeah, that's basically what he does to this reporter. It makes it like it's caught on camera, but there's like a bunch of heroes. So if you try like saying this hero is being a jerk, then you know the whole hero society is gonna be like, put that down, or we'll actually murder you. Because you know he's the number one hero. If he does anything bad, then we're gonna have to stop you from posting it. That's cringe. And then Deku just uh, says, "Oh, All Might, I can sense that body type anywhere." And All Might goes, laughs in his usual laugh. Says he actually laughs normally. Actually, instead of his like heroic laugh, he actually laughs normally for once. This ain't All Might talking. This is Toshinori talking. And he just has a very nice conversation with Deku. For some reason, this kid has a lot of experience, even though he's a 14-year-old. Using haki kind of boosts your intelligence. Not for Luffy, though. Actually, it kind of did, to be honest. Like, Luffy was stupid, now he has all this battle tactics because he got haki. I want to count that as a W. Then Deku just, eats. Okay. Then Deku just goes home and then eats dinner with his mammy and then trains for the 10-month arc. But he learns new techniques and for his haki, like this new technique where if he punches a thing, then he doesn't punch the thing, and then his fist hits the fist, and he puts physical force into it, and it makes a giant kaboomy. I can't believe Scorpion lost to Liu Kang. I'm kidding, that makes total sense. And then Deku just, it's home, I guess. I guess you should say, Deku is just, you already know my boy Deku is just playing that fucking fiddle. Am I saying fiddle? What did I even say fiddle? That's super dumb. What did I even say? And he's just chilling, and then he goes to the this entrance is there, and he heads in there. And how much time do we have left? A lot of time. Let's go. And then Deku just balls. Sorry. Then Deku just beats. Then he goes in, doesn't trip on the rock, since he has perception. He just flick it before he can even touch it. See, he did see it coming, because he's so smart. He better not hit him with the Q. It was a heavy. No. Alright, back to what I was saying. Deku then just walks into it, says to to Bakugo, saying, "So how we doing, Bakugo?" And Bakugo's like, "Shut up, nerd." Alright. He like gives this sappy old smile. Like what you would see from your grandpa. For some reason, he just looks like that. And then he does his... Luckily, he was getting an embroidered version. And so he did the embroidery thing. And he had an assistant to write down the words he said. And then Ida, not knowing it was a guy that was blind, started saying, "Do you mind being quiet? I'm trying to get this thing done." And then Deku's like, "Bro, I'm blind. It's my assistant. I need to talk." And Ida's like, "My sincerest apologies. I didn't mean to disturb you. It's just I didn't know." And he's like, "No problem, young man." For some reason, for some reason, I feel like I am the young man in this situation. What the fuck do you use for Raiden? He's probably the weakest motherfucking character in Mortal Kombat ever. God damn it, Scorpion. Alright, sorry. After that gets then walks out on the stage. And all my and Ida then just thinks, "Oh yeah, he's just going up to the stage." And then Deku actually does go up to the front. Because he has a Medal of Chakra in this version. And then the guy's like, "This is taking a while." And then Deku just conquer Haki's, punches it, doesn't even punch it, puts his fist to it, and then explodes the door, and just walks straight in, starts cutting up robots with his conquerors, with his armament Haki for his blade. Oh, I think it's embroiderment. Embroiderment? Embroider. Imbued. Imbued conquerors Haki. Embroidered. Embroidered conquerors Haki. Haki. Embroidered. You know what I mean. So Deku just starts slicing through the robots like it's butter. Warm butter, not cold butter, because that's just hard to cut through. And Deku just goes in. Yeah, he kind of reminds you of Fujitori, doesn't he? But he looks completely different to him. I swear. And then Deku just... I'm just taking massive L's here, aren't I? Kano to Jackie. Are you kidding me? Alright, so Deku, after doing that, he just keeps going. And then he just stops for a bit after realizing that he's going too fast. So he sheaths his blade and just sits there on a man-made bench. Like, this is nice. And then Deku just sleeps. No, I'm not kidding. He actually just goes to sleep. He don't give a fricks. And then he hears a scream and looks and sees. And then he conquers. Then he future sights Haki and then sees this girl getting her head crushed slowly by a zero pointer. So then Deku just runs towards the fitness direction of the scream. Then seeing her body shape under some rocks, then he like speeds towards her, then removes all the rocks, picks up her with one hand, a single hand on her back, picks her up, then he puts her on his shoulder, and then he unsheaths his blade, and then it hits it with the conch into the embroidered sword, haki sword, plus haki on his hand. Then he just cuts the zero pointer, just looking in that specific little direction, and cuts it clean in half. And Deku just walks off like a badass. And when the zero pointer is falling backwards, it falls like in this dramatic pose, like, damn, I got my shit rocked. And Deku just, I think, could just go home. Put Ravka down with the recovery girl and say he's perfectly fine, sheath his blade, and then go home. Then a couple weeks later, Deku gets his holodisc and says, "You're accepted because you did phenomenal, young Midoriya." Because of course it's All Might. Who else would it be? Then Deku goes to his first class. He's liking it. He's liking it. He doesn't get lost. He actually gets there early because you know he's a blind man. He doesn't want to go into very high populated classrooms. So he's probably like one of the first people there, next to Mama Yoshu and Ida and Todoroki because he gets there pretty early. And then Deku then senses the, I don't know how, but he like senses the torment in Todoroki, walks towards him and then just says, "I see that the world hasn't been treating you right, has it?" And then Deku, and then Shoto's like, "Huh?" It's like looking up at the, barely acknowledging Deku because he's still emo. And then Deku says, "Well, this world hasn't been so kind to me neither, young man." And he's like, "You don't look old." "True, but my mind is well beyond my years." That's a fine line, I guess. He's like, "How do you know you haven't experienced what I've experienced?" "True, but I've experienced a bad situation." And then he opens his eyes, because his eyes have been closed this whole time, and shows him that he's blind. And Shoto's surprised, because he didn't know a blind person was here. Mind you, he doesn't care Deku's blind. He just says he's surprised a blind man got into this class. And then, Deku's like, "Don't underestimate blind people, I guess." Deku's still blind though. Deku was still quirkless, by the way, but he definitely did not see himself as blind. He definitely did not see himself as quirkless. Did you see what he did to that villain? That high-class villain? Made him go to sleep. He just goes home. Yeah, Deku just, go home. Where am I talking about? Not go. But he says, "So, you mind if I sit here for the rest of the year? Just in case you need any emotional assistance." And Shoto's like, "That is fine, sir. Call me, Midoriya. Alright?" "Alright, Midoriya." And then Deku just hits it with a dumbass smile. Shoto sees it while he doesn't. And then Shoto gets a little warm feeling in him. And then he stops thinking. Then he brushes it aside. Luckily, Deku didn't see it or hear it when he ruffled around and started squirming. There's nothing you can do about it. Alright, continue with the story. And then Deku just, man, I'm taking massive L's though. And then Deku just sits there for the rest of the school, well, the rest of the day, talking with Deku, talking with Johto, until, the whole testing the might of the things now. Deku explaining that, well, Deku not being first, still Bako, because, remember, he took a break and slept, and still passed. So Bako throws the bomb, and then Deku goes after everyone goes the exact same way. Rogue still gets 100, and Deku's about to go. So Deku then doesn't unsheath his sword from his cane. He then puts the cane, grabs it like a sword, then hits it with a side chop, like a bat. And then it shoots. It doesn't go upwards, it starts shooting straight forward. It shoots through the fence and then just keeps going. And going. And going. Until a pro hero by the name Schnaza is a guy that has a giant snoz. Grabs it and just goes, huh? Oh, actually. Yeah, he only oinks. Because he can't he doesn't have a mouth. And then Deku's thing stops at a decent score that wouldn't make him last by a far margin. Then Deku just walks off with no difficulty. All the other ones he did pretty fine. I don't need to cover it anymore, but we do get to see Shoto then walking up to Deku and saying, "Nice one, Midoriya." And Deku hits him with another dumb smile, "Thanks for the compliment. I was just working my best." With a good little smile. And yes, Shoto got the warm, tingly sensation in himself again, but it's a bit more prominent. But he minds it. He slows it down. Then Deku just continues to talk with Shoto until the end of the school. And he actually asks Shoto if he wanted to go grab a bite later. Yes, I just made Deku ask Shoto Todoroki on a date. And yes, that date did happen, and it was fucking awesome. It was really nice. And Shoto would say, "I'd like to have another one sometime later in the future." And Deku says, "That would be great. See you later, Todoroki." Deku goes home, sleeps, next day. And then Deku's at school now. Says they're gonna do some hero training with the one and only, and then All Might busts in with me, All Might. The one and only All Might. And then everyone's cheering, while Deku is also uh, clapping with big figure, imagine your hand normal clap, and then this big clap with your hands are not perfect, you know what I mean, big claps, because he can't see him. He doesn't know where to scream. I'd be happy, but Shoto's hits him with the blushy jealous. But in a sense where it looks like he's gonna kill the, where it looks like he's very offended. He looks more, bit sus, a bit jelly, just a bit jelly. And then they'd go to the training. Luckily for Todoroki, he he yells out. He slightly smirks. Oh my god. Because he hears Midori and Todoroki. And Midori's like, awesome. And then they both go into line while the hero team sets up the bomb. Who are we finding? Okay. And then Deku just says, so, you gonna use your ice quirk? I know you can't use your fire quirk for some reason, but hey, at least you can do your ice quirk for now. And he says, I'd like you to see you fight. Deku's like, alright. Then Bakugo comes barreling in like, Deku! And Deku's like, alright, Bakugo, let's do this. And Bakugo starts running the fade of Deku. Oh, Shoujo Todoroki just sneaks past. And then, the battle begins. Bakugo throws a right boom boom attack. But Deku just parries it with just a staff. He just parries it. He hooks his hand, takes the sword out, grabs the hilt of it, twists it, and then smacks Bakugo with a palm strike to the nose. Then he hooks the Bakugo's arm forward, then hits him with the punches, cuts his hand, his wrist, then pops him in the mouth pops him in again in the mouth with his handle. And then he grabs the hilt, goes, bring it on, Bakugo, with Bakugo like bleeding out of the nose slightly, and then he barrel swords Deku again, preparing to hit him, but then Deku just weaves, then hits him with a 3-point saber combo. Hits him with a 1, 2, 3. And then Deku just tells Bakugo to give up because you'll never be able to touch him. Until Bakugo just goes like, I guess you weren't expecting this. And Deku somehow was still expecting it. Just coats in, for a split second, Bakugo pull the grenade and Deku's armoring up. Then Bakugo pulls the trigger, and then it's just Deku shirtless with absolutely swole body, saying, pathetic, as always, Bakugo. As I thought, Bakugo. Pathetic. And then Bakugo gets frustrated, tries to throw another one, but Deku just conquers Haki's ass and then makes him fall asleep. Then he goes home. Deku goes home. Yeah, then Deku just walks past Bakugo, his unconscious body, which is an out for him. And then Deku says to Todoroki, who's already frozen, Ida down. It was too easy. He had no difficulty, as always. Then they touch the bomb together. It's very sweet. And then, obviously, Shoujo was a bit surprised by Deku having no shirt on. But, he toughed it out. Like he always does. And then Deku just, tells him, great job, Todoroki. Amazing. And, that's the end of the day. And then Deku says, how about the date you promised me? He says this to Shoto. Shoto's like, of course. And then they then walk off after class, with Bakugo looking at them like, Bakugo looking at Deku mostly and saying, why can't it be as good as him? See y'all later. As you know from the beginning of the video, see you later. Just subscribe, hit the post notification bell. I got no problems with you not doing that. It helps me get money, so thank you.